This video is going to be a film study look at the near perfect start by Zach Orr's defense to their wildcard win over the Pittsburgh Steelers on Saturday night. 4 possessions in the first half, 4 stops. In fact, held the Steelers offense to 59 offensive yards through 30 minutes. A shutout. The Steelers really did not get into their offense pretty much the whole night. I think they made a tactical decision to throw the ball, to get in the shotgun and throw the ball. I did a preview Saturday morning where I described their shotgun run offense as non-existent. So they essentially become one-dimensional, in my opinion. I do have to say that Zach Orr's defense and his staff did a great job of matching some of the different personnel groupings that the Steelers throw out there. I'm talking about a specific or unique version of 11 personnel that the Steelers try to utilize. The first half was obviously key on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. We jumped out to a 21-0 lead as a result of the run game and then Lamar Jackson's playmaking brilliance late in the second quarter. The 4 stops by the defense. Look, if we get 4 stops in any half against any team and don't turn the football over with this offense, we will be in the lead and we'll have an excellent opportunity to win the football game. I'm talking about 80% plus. Do I expect the Ravens from here on out defensively to get 4 stops in any half against the Bills or the Chiefs or the Texans or the Eagles or the Lions or whoever they may play down the road? No, but I'm saying that formula, if you give us that 4 stops in one half, if Zach Orr and the staff, let's put it this way, can come out this prepared every week and keep a team from scoring for 30 minutes, the Baltimore Ravens might be in the Super Bowl and might win it all. Let's get to the film here, and we'll go through selected portions of the first half defensive snaps. Only going to highlight the first 4 possessions. I will talk about the larger portion or the larger pattern of the game in the third quarter when Russell Wilson was really able to get things going. This is the first play of the game. This was shocking to me. 11 personnel, shotgun pass play immediately. Totally away from their offensive structure, what they like to do, get under center, force you to defend the run, and the play action off of it. No jet sweep offering, meaning they didn't get into anything that looked like their typical offense. This, I don't know if it's an admission that they won the toss, chose to take the football, and then come out in this stuff. By the way, the Ravens are dropping out into a cover 3. So we're dropping Van Noy. Hamilton's dropping down into the flats. Malik Harrison is blitzing. So the way that it works out ends up looking like 4 underneath, cover 3, different variations of it depending on the formation. But this is a 2-by-2 formation because Freiermuth has motioned out into the boundary. Obviously, it's a drop by him that creates a 2nd and 10. They did generate a first down on that drive. This is a little bit later on that first possession. 11 personnel. We're going to play man free here. And I think Russell Wilson may miss or just not recognize. I think it's Austin running across the middle of the field against Wiggins. Appears to be open. Tries to get the ball to Mike Williams. Marlon Humphrey all over him. I thought Humphrey played a spectacular game. Meanwhile, up at the top side of the screen, you've got Pickens against Brandon Stevens. And you can see Hamilton is just off screen right here. He's holding such that he could deal with any moon ball or vertical shot to Pickens. So you've got Ardarius and Roquan have matched the one-man screen concept down here to the boundary. So tight end releasing out, Najee Harris releasing, so one-man screen concept, whatever people call it nowadays. We run it as well. He chooses to go to Mike Williams. Maybe he just doesn't see that Austin has got some separation from Nate Wiggins. Or it's also possible that because Kyle Hamilton was kind of lurking in that area, he chose to go to the underneath route. As it stands, it created a 2nd and 10. One play after that, this is a 3rd and 6. It's a fantastic tackle by Kyle Van Noy. This is their first possession, and we go 2-man. So what I think we're trying to do is ensure that George Pickens doesn't beat us with anything down the field because he's such a difficult matchup because of his frame, his ability to push off and get away with it a lot because he doesn't extend his arms all the way, even though he didn't get away with it in the second quarter here. I'll show you that play in a moment. But the 2-man decision is a difficult one to make if you're going against a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes, guys who have a whole lot of maneuverability and athleticism. In this case, you can see the structure. You've got Ardarius as a deep safety, Kyle Hamilton up top there as a deep safety. Oh, by the way, Pickens didn't run a vertical. He runs a drag, and Wiggins is right with him at the sticks. Again, it's a 3rd and 6. So the Steelers are trying to get him loose underneath. Everyone is pretty much locked up. Russell Wilson knows it. And Van Noy folds underneath. Look at all the grass that is in front of Russell Wilson. If we don't make this play, they retain possession of the football and are getting ready to be near midfield. Give you the end zone angle of this one. I thought our 4-man rush did a great job. Van Noy, for being as old as he is, just continues to impress with his pursuit, his ability to redirect, make plays kind of off his tracks, if you will. That's an important stop because, of course, we go down and score. So they won the toss, chose to take the football, and we not only get a stop, but we go down and score on our first possession. Really puts them behind the 8 ball, if you ask me. And then their second possession is even more revealing of their attitude, of their perspective, of their game plan, if you will, coming into the game. I talked about it in the reaction video Saturday night. So this is first play of their second possession. And we've matched 11 personnel, quote, with our nickel. And so this is their tight end, Washington and Skoranek, and then actual 2 wide receivers, one of which is going to go in motion right to left. And they run a flea flicker on the first play of their second possession. It's great recognition by Marlon Humphrey to attack. Almost gets his hand on the football. Wilson is able to avoid it. I will give you the end zone angle of this one. What they're trying to do is the guy who went in motion, the receiver, he's going to run a wheel. Hamilton had come down. He's going to turn and try to run with it. Also, check out Brandon Stevens. So as this develops, you can see Russell Wilson still has the football right here, okay? That's Hamilton trying to match the wheel on the receiver who went in motion. Brandon Stevens appears to be man on one. It makes sense. It was a single receiver side when the play started. But watch his reaction here in a moment. He passes this route off such that if the ball is thrown down the sideline, he's passed it off to Orr'S Washington. It's just in the right-hand portion of you guys' screen. My apologies. I like to zoom the frame in a little bit for various reasons. I'll give you the end zone angle of this one. Of course, this ends up being a sack for Pierce. Humphrey is the guy who gets the first pressure. He just makes so many plays. I talked about Humphrey's hit chart, and I don't even know what to refer to it as. It's an off-season project of mine, regardless of how things end. I want to see where his plays are made. I'm not aware that there's any graphics that are constructed in that manner for defensive side of the ball, but I'm just super interested in all the locations in the field that he's made plays. As an aside, another thing to mention, you got a receiver in motion, tight end, and then this is Skoranek. So when we've matched with our nickel here, because of 15, he's utilized as a blocker more often than not, we've put our better run defenders on the field, even though it's 11 personnel. So there's some real brilliance, if you ask me, real preparation for what Zach Orr and his staff did in terms of matching personnel groups, and then the coverages that we came out of, the coverages that flowed from it, if you will. Moving forward here, this is their third drive, third possession into the second quarter. And I want to give you a real good look at this inside, what I call wind back stuff, whether it's inside zone, toss, whatever. This is after a 5-yard pass completion, and you're going to get a look at the wall that the Steelers are trying to create. Someone's got to defeat the wall. Someone's got to break the wall. So it's a 12 personnel grouping, and the way they're blocking this is they're bringing one tight end across the formation, and he'll deal with the edge defender. You will get the end zone angle in a moment. Additional to that, since we're in this 5-3 look, we've rolled up Orr'S Washington into the box. Since we're in that 5-3 look, instead of getting the safety, the wide receiver to the play side, to the call side, he's going to go get and try to seal the front side inside linebacker. That's Roquan Smith. Look at the wall that they've created here. That's the idea. That's the plan, is to take that receiver and that tight end, help the offensive line create a wall here, kick out the edge defender, and theoretically there shouldn't be anybody there. But we do have one guy who defeats the wall. It's Broderick Washington. He's able to split between the tight end and the left tackle. The left tackle released up for some reason. There's the kick out man, Malik Harrison. This tight end in motion is going to kick him out. Everybody else that you see here is going to work this way. They're all going to work down, try to create that wall opposite of the kick out action, and Harris starts to his right and then winds it back off that wall. It's a design wind back. I tried to explain it in my preview on Saturday morning. It's a cool concept. I really like it. I don't like defending it, but I like the concept, and it creates a lot of conflict for you. If you try to flow too hard this way, now you've actually caught yourself or trapped yourself underneath the wall, if you will. As it stands, Broderick Washington able to make the tackle, only a 3-yard gain to create or set up, I should say, a 3rd and 2. This is one of the plays of the game because we scored. They've got nothing accomplished. They did actually stop us on our second possession, but they've got nothing accomplished to this point offensively. And we've got a 3rd and 2 here, and they go empty. Well, they put Pickens and Freiermuth up here to the top, Warren and another receiver down here to the bottom. I don't think that there's really much of an opportunity or chance that they're going to throw it down here. First of all, it's a great reaction by Orr'S Washington. Look, Orr'S and Kyle Hamilton, they play at a different speed when they're playing downhill, stuff like this. Orr'S is great in these situations. Call him small, undersized, whatever. Great agility. His ability to get around trash, things that are in his path, but still stay working downhill. It's unique even at the NFL level. It's a great tackle. I mean, the Freiermuth was obviously short. Beautiful moment, if you ask me. I do think that our safeties, if they have a relative weakness, it is from a too high safety alignment. I'll try to have more on that a little bit later on in the week. But you guys get a view here of Orr'S going low on Freiermuth, who's a really good football player. Because Orr'S is there so quickly, there's nothing Freiermuth can do, meaning he can't put his foot in the ground and make a move. There's no time, there's no space afforded to him to make a move because Orr'S is there so quick. We'll pull this back. You don't really get an eye on Orr'S, but there he is coming downhill, low tackle, wrapping up, perfectly done, gets us another stop. And look, Tomlin's decision not to go for it there, I mean, you can question it if you want. I got no problem with that. The other way to look at it is it possible they took the ball first and they were in more of a throw first, throw often game plan or mode, if you will, because they realized they had to score points, because they didn't think they'd be able to stop our run game and our option game. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot to put together. That's how it played out, I guess. We get the benefit of looking at it now the next day or the next afternoon as I record this. For them to not go for it on that 4th down, Steelers fans, I'm sure, very critical. Some Ravens fans in our Discord were like, why didn't you go for it there? I'm not sure. I will say this. 3 situations already this year, we've stopped them in 3rd and 1. And in fact, in week 11, I think in Pittsburgh, we stopped them on a 4th and 1, and we were able to get the football back somewhere around their 42, 44-yard line. I think it's possible that played into Tomlin's decision-making there. So after this play, after that great tackle by Orr'S in the punt, we go on that incredible drive, 13 run plays, 12 called run plays. I think one of them is a called pass play that Lamar scrambles on, but maybe it's a quarterback draw. As an aside, Coach Evans did a film study video on that one. If you haven't checked it out, I'll try to link it up in the description. I watched a little bit of it this morning while I was driving into the office. So we're into the 4th possession in the second quarter. They brought Justin Fields in. We're up 14-0 at this point. They actually just generated a 1st down. And so Fields is in the game in 11 personnel. We've matched with our run-stopping group, Ojabo, Pierce, Urban, who's lined up off the ball, Tavius Robinson, a little bit backed up off as well. And our nickel group, Marlon Humphrey, is up there to the trip side. Great recognition by Marlon, first of all. They're making it look like a read option. I do think it's interesting that you've got the first possession, the Steelers come out and throw the football out of 11 personnel first play. Second possession, they begin that with a flea flicker, which is unsuccessful. And then now here on the 3rd possession, after getting a 1st down, they're bringing Fields in and making it look like a read option. There just seems to be this element where they didn't trust the things that they had been executing all year. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what the larger statement is there. But in any case, have to give credit to Orr'S Washington and Marlon Humphrey for their reaction. Look how connected they are, number one. Number two, Orr'S' eyes are right on this tight end. Don't listen to people that are like, oh, these guys are staring in the backfield the whole time. Yeah, there's times where they do once they've read pass, but his eyes are on the tight end. Look at his reaction. He's stepping, he's mirroring, he's following the tight end. Of course, it's a gigantic mismatch from a frame and height standpoint, but not on the field. Not the way that Ardarius Washington plays. He's an absolute baller. A badass play by Marlon Humphrey, who I think played extremely well. The Steelers were impatient. It seemed like they were trying to trick us. They were going away from their style, the things that had worked for the better part of the year. I don't know what that means, what the larger thing is to extrapolate out of that. Are the Bills going to be better offensively? Of course. They got a better quarterback, better game plan, I'm sure. We do a great job of stopping the run, so that's going to be an interesting matchup because I think they're more reliant on running the football than they have been in previous years. Very next play, they brought Russell Wilson back in, and this is shocking. It's a double tackle pull. This is not the design of the play. Something is wrong here. So what I mean is they've introduced some new terminology. That's my understanding. When you introduce new terminology, it may be phonetic with a right and left, origin for the word, but you've got the left tackle pulling to the right and the right tackle pulling to the left. At least they don't run into each other. We've seen that before. I think it happened in 2022 for the Ravens. That doesn't look normal to me for a lot of reasons. When you get the end zone angle, look, it's Van Noy making a great play, stepping down underneath of the tackle and then making the tackle on Warren to get him to the ground. But there's no read here. There's no read element to this. Russell Wilson isn't reading Van Noy. He's not making it look like, hey, dude, you're being read. You've got to slow up and then let the tackle kick him out, meaning the left tackle who's pulling. I know there's two of them, so it doesn't really, whittle it down when I say tackle. But this is just a weird play for this to happen in a wild card round, the 19th game of the season, I guess 18th game, week 19. 2-yard gain for Warren sets up a 3rd and 8, and we all know this is a huge moment. When the refs called this on Pickens, look, I'm not saying Pickens it should be called for it every time. I don't think he actually does commit a foul every time that this occurs. On this one he's very good at it. He doesn't have to extend his arms because he's got such a long frame. I do want to say this first of all, it's a correct call. Second of all, Humphrey knows that he's going to push off. Why? Well, Humphrey's running the route. Humphrey's defending him now. He has inside leverage help from Ardarius Washington. Wilson throws it up. It's a great throw from Wilson. Give him credit for that. We'll slow it down so you can see it. It's a clear push off by Pickens. I also think that this is a little bit of a product of a limited route tree. I don't see George Pickens' route tree as being incredibly diverse and varied like some other guys across the NFL. Do they move him around sometimes? Sure. Does he play in the slot occasionally? Yeah. This 49, in my opinion, he's got to evolve, and some of the Steelers' coaching towards him has got to evolve, basically in saying, hey, we've got to add other moves, other ways to get you the football than just these moon balls that rely on you pushing off. I do think he does it a lot, and I understand that, if there's any Steelers fans listening or maybe even some Ravens fans, they'll disagree. It got called there in a big moment. If you don't push off, yes, you have less of a chance to catch the football. If you do push off, you probably have a greater chance to catch the football, but you also could be called for the penalty. I think that one was deserved. The one in the fourth quarter, I thought it was a nice job of him getting his hands out, but not extending them such. If you put your arm out straight right now, it's quite visible to anyone watching. And if you do it without extending your arms all the way, that's brilliant, if you ask me, obfuscation for the refs. It didn't work out on that particular one. Whether Marlon Humphrey sold it or not, I don't care. If you weren't so predictable as far as the route, as far as what you were going to go to in some of those moments, then Marlon wouldn't be so prepared to, quote, flop, if you think he flopped, I don't, in that moment once he recognizes the route. The ensuing play, the 3rd and 18, their last offensive snap of the second quarter, we're just dropping to a Tampa 2. We're playing a ton of 2. And so we're doing this from a 3-safety look. I'll talk about this 3-safety look a little bit more on Monday, and I'm sure other guys have covered it. You got Hamilton, Ardarius, and Marlon Humphrey. We use this on the 4th down in the 4th quarter, basically the one that Ardarius almost intercepted in the end zone. And look, you can't use this on 4th and 6. You can't use this on 3rd and 6 where the quarterback could scramble. But to get to the Tampa 2, pretty easy. You just take the middle safety and he sits and he's waiting for a vertical concept. The other 2 safeties, well, one of them's a safety, Kyle Hamilton, and then the corner, Marlon Humphrey. I think we've been doing this more often lately. So what I mean is Humphrey playing some half-field safety either by alignment or post-snap. So he did this last week, line up approximately here, and then immediately on the snap, get depth such that he's getting back to half field safety. Is it Dean Pease influence? I don't know. I like it. Josh Allen and other quarterbacks, are they going to be able to attack us a little bit better? Are they going to handle the Tampa 2 stuff in a better manner than Russell Wilson? Sure, I'll accept that if that's what you think. But I will say this: we're playing a shit ton of coverages, but we're doing it from different platforms. We're doing it from different groupings. Marlon Humphrey has spent time at safety here recently. I do think that our Darius Washington's relative weakness on the field is defending the pass from a half field alignment. I'm not saying he's not any good at it. I'm just saying I think he's better coming forward. I think he's better in man against tight end guys and running backs out in the flats and such. From a deep half alignment, I wonder if we're putting Marlon up there more often to dissuade quarterbacks from throwing it. Think about it. If Kyle Hamilton's playing one deep half safety and Marlon Humphrey is playing the other, what two better playmakers do we have, for this defense at least, when the ball's in the air in 2024 than Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey? Like I said earlier during the lead into the video, I'll have more on the Ravens defense on Monday morning. This is just a look at the first half defense that I was blown away by, for the Steelers to be held to 59 yards of offense while we generated 308. Complete dominance in the first half. The coaching staff had those guys prepared. Players came out and executed on both sides of the ball. Have to say that our pass rush was quite successful. We generated 4 sacks, one of which was Michael Pierce. The other 3 was our edge defenders, including, then 2 by Matabike, 1 by Odafe Owe. I thought Van Noy was disruptive, even though he didn't get a sack on that 3rd and 6. I misspoke there a moment ago on the first possession. He tackled Russell Wilson after a 2-yard gain. Those guys came out playing like their hair was on fire. Just a continuation of what they've done since showing up to Pittsburgh in Week 11 with a different mentality, a different structure, a different safety group. All of those things added together has helped this Ravens defense succeed, and in fact, in the first half, absolutely overwhelmed the Steelers offense that came in and tried to play in an uncharacteristic fashion that didn't really suit them. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section, number 1, and number 2. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this one, please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.